Education is the channel through which we learn skills, methods, information, and knowledge we need to know, comprehend, and respect our responsibilities to our community, family, and nation. Good day, panelists. We are here to present to you our research proposal entitled Challenges Encountered During Face-to-Face Classes of the Grade 12 Students. Before we formally start our presentation, let me introduce to you our group. My name is Bergetron Rosario, together with my co-researchers, Ms. HUMSS-Y, Ms. Jenny Bernabe, Mr. Derek Gerardo, Mr. Ronaldo Guzman, Ms. Jeremy Estrada, Mr. G. Mark Isla, Ms. Angel Doylaluan, Mr. Daniel Paras, Mr. Carlo Reyes, Ms. Janice Agipel, and Mr. Brian D. Sugapo. To be able to thrive into this competitive environment, we all need knowledge to like the path. Difficulties have developed over students' access to school in the middle of pandemic. As the days go by, the cases of COVID-19 decreases. With this, the face-to-face classes will be back as a student's learning method. Here is Mr. Reyes to present to you the background of the study.
The background of the study, as stated by Young 2022, President Bongbong Marcos and the Department of Education is aiming for 100% of full implementation of face-to-face classes by November. Vice President Sara Duterte, the Secretary of DepEd, is planning for 100% implementation of face-to-face by November as of DepEd Order 34 Series of 2022. Starting November 2, all public and private schools shall transition to face-to-face, including San Jacinto National High School. Since face-to-face is already starting San Jacinto National High School, after a long period of having modular learning, the researchers want to determine the challenges encountered during face-to-face by the grade 12 student. For the theoretical framework, here is Ms. HUMSS-Y and Ms. Saguito.
Theoretical framework. For this study, it is anchored with Abraham Maslow, Hierarchy of Needs Education, 4 Types of Intelligences, and Robert Gagne, Hierarchy of Learning. Abraham Maslow, Hierarchy of Needs in Education. For effective learning, the basic requirements of every student must be met. Students will learn more if more of their needs are met. Maslow explained that a person must first attempt to meet the needs at lower levels of the hierarchy before an individual meets the higher level of need. This includes physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and the self-actualization. Robert Gagne, Hierarchy of Learning. Robert Gagne defined learning as a change in an individual disposition or capacity that can be retained and it's not simply attributable to the process of growth. As said by him, learning of new capability necessarily requires prior knowledge of the subordinate capacities involved in the new capability. There are signal learning, stimulus-response learning, chaining, verbal association, multiple discrimination, concept learning, rule learning, and problem solving. To the summary, what has been said thus far, when applied in the classroom setting, this theory are more beneficial to teachers and students in achieving an effective learning environment. For third theory anchored with this study, here is Ms. Saguito.
According to Saran and Post 2020, psychologists distinguish the following types of intelligence. We have IQ, intelligence quotient, EQ, emotional quotient, SQ, social quotient, and AQ, adversity quotient. Parents should try to expose their children to activities other than academics. They should adore manual work, sports, and the arts. Develop their EQ, SQ, and AQ so that they can become diverse individuals capable of doing things on their own. There is, for the conceptual framework of the study and the statement of the problem, there is Ms. Bernard.
Figure 1.3 shows the conceptual model of the study. For this study, the researcher follows input, process, output, or IPO model. The first frame presents the input of the study that includes the statement of the problem. The second frame presents the process of the study. The third frame, which is the output, which doesn't present something because we're still in the process. For the statement of the problem, the study aims to identify the challenges encountered during face-to-face classes of the grade 12 students. Specifically, the study seeks to answer the following questions. Number 1, what is the profile of students in terms of 1.1 age, 1.2 sex, 1.3 section, 1.4 family monthly income? For the number 2, what are the challenges encountered during face-to-face classes by the students in terms of 2.1 learning style, 2.2 time management, 2.3 financial factors, 2.4 social interaction? For the number 3, what are the interventions that can be proposed to solve the challenges encountered during face-to-face classes in terms of 3.1 learning style, 3.2 time management, 3.3 financial factors, 3.4 social interaction? For the number 4, is there a significant relationship between the challenges by the students and the proposed interventions during face-to-face classes? For the research hypothesis and scope and limitation, here is Mr. Kalas.
Research hypothesis and connection to the stated problems. The researchers developed hypotheses of the possible outcomes of the study. Null hypothesis. There is no significant relationship between the challenges encountered during the face-to-face classes and the proposed intervention to solve the challenges. Alternative hypothesis. There is a significant relationship between the challenges encountered during face-to-face classes and the proposed intervention to solve the challenges. Scope and the limitation. The main purpose of this study is to determine the challenges encountered during the face-to-face classes of the students. The primary subjects are the grade 12 students coming from the different strands, namely STEM, ABM, GAS, HUMSS, ICT Compro, CSS, and HU. This study will be conducted during the first semester from September to December 2022. For the review of related literature and studies, here is Ms. Laluhan and Ms. Estrada.
Thank you, Mr. Paras. According to KIRA 2012, interact with other people have been shown to organize their thoughts, reflect on understanding, identify gaps and reasoning. He said that interaction of face-to-face classes is very essential, of course. However, if we never had an interaction between the educators and the students, of course our knowledge would become lesser and more uninteresting. What if we do not have interaction? Maybe individuals must expected to understand the topic in their own. But if you have the interaction between the student and the educators, of course the student, their knowledge would be wider and more interesting. According to the Decade Order number 34 series of 2022, November 2, yesterday, 2022, all public and private schools will be required to implement shifted 5 days in-person classes. After that date, no school shall be permitted to use purely distance or blended learning. For the foreign and local studies, here is Mrs. Tan.
Samsung 2018 claims that during face-to-face learning, students can interact and exchange knowledge and ideas, which can lead to critical thinking, collaborative learning, motivation, and self-learning direction. Veneer 2021. School reopening for face-to-face interaction must be carefully planned to ensure the safety of students as well as teachers and school staff, in a staged fashion, especially in following physical distancing. People are used to gain knowledge with interaction because anybody can participate in an activity that can be done at school.
including motivation. As stated by Ms. S.Y a while ago, self-actualization becomes the motivating force. Students seek ways to maximize their individual learning potential and find fulfillment in their studies. People who are self-actualized are impulsive, independent, analytical, and realistic. The reopening of face-to-face classes should be carefully planned to protect the health of students and to avoid the virus that can be acquired from one person, because with the reopening of the class, it is necessary to take care of ourselves. For the research methodology, here is Mr. Reyes and Mr. Rosario.
The research methodology. This study is made of use of quantitative research by doing a descriptive research design. Specifically, this study utilizes descriptive method of collecting data on adverse range of topic. The local study will be conducting at San Jacinto National High School, Senior High School, Annex, located at Barangay BABAWI, San Jacinto, Pangasinan. The respondent of the study will be grade 2 senior high school student. Since there is a large population of grade 12, the researchers decided to come up with 50 respondents only. The researchers will be using simple random sampling through fishbowl technique. As stated by the research advisor, the maximum number of respondents is between 30 to 50 respondents. Here is the documentation done by the researchers during the sampling procedure. First, the researchers collected the list from each strand from the class president or classroom officer. Second, the researchers go back to each strand to check the master list gathered with class president or classroom officer. Thirdly, the researchers sought help from the advisor to each strand to verify the master list gathered. It went to legal procedures such as giving the advisor a verification letter. Name of the student will be kept confidential by the researchers.
Lahat kayo ng strand, merong representative ba? Ilan per strand?
Per random select.
Yes, ilan yun?
Sure, hindi ko namin
Wala ka naman.
After that, once the advisors verified the list, the researchers encoded it, printed it, and had cut it. The researchers placed it accordingly in a container with the name of each strand. Lastly, they combined all the names from each strand in a container, and random name selecting was carried out. For the data gathering instrument, here is Mr. Reyes.
A survey questionnaire is often used in quantitative study. For this study, the researchers use a survey questionnaire to gather the data. The responses that will be gathered will be treated and at most confidentiality by the researchers. The researchers first submit it to Mr. Michael John P. Paco for approval and validation. Next, the researchers submit it to Mrs. Marinel M. Castro for the grammatical error. Then the researchers sought help to Ma'am Hannah De Vera to validate statistical tools that we will be used. After that, the researchers will be floating the questionnaire, administering it to selected respondent from fishbowl technique. Data collection will be carried out. Respondent will be given enough time to complete the survey questionnaire. Responses will be kept confidential. When the researchers have finished collecting responses, they will organize, tabulate, statistically analyze, and interpret it to the next chapter. For the statistical treatment of data, here is Mr. Rosario.
For this study, the researchers will be using percentage, average weighted mean, then the researchers will be adopting Likert scale to interpret the results. And persons are formula to describe the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two quantitative variables. Persons are using the method, one can ascertain the direction of correlation, whether the correlation between two variables is negative or positive. For the survey questionnaire, here is Ms. Aluwan to distribute.
For i-open edit muna natin naman kasi na natin kung ano yung palimutan. Okay?
This is the end of our presentation. Hope that you understand our research proposal entitled Challenges Encountered During Face-to-Face Classes of the grade 12 Students. The floor is now open for questions and further clarifications.
Ha? Yes. Yes. Easy mo kung sino daw. So, bakit okay, magalala. Mag-determine na naman ito dito na okay, ito na doon. So, sino nawala? Si Miss Reyes. Ayun. Okay.